Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech. All right, let's just get right into it. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on what is, no joke, tech's trillion-dollar gamble on AI.
So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the absolutely wild money go-round fueling this thing. Then, we'll see how this tech is becoming a literal weapon. After that, we'll look at the hidden infrastructure, the human cost of all this hype, and finally try to figure out if we're in a bubble.
Okay, first things first, the AI money go-round. You got to follow the money to understand what's really driving this whole boom.
And when I say money, I mean a lot of money. The first thing you really need to wrap your head around is just the sheer scale of it. Look at this number. We're talking about $100 billion, and that's just the starting point.
So how do you even get to a number that big? Well, you have to look at the engine driving this whole thing. It's this system called vendor financing. And honestly, it's kind of brilliant. The money basically flows in a big circle, fueling its own growth and getting investors super excited. Okay, so here's the playbook, step by step. First, a chip giant, let's say Nvidia, invests billions into an AI company. Then, that AI company immediately turns around and uses that exact same money to buy a ton of Nvidia's chips. And bam, Nvidia announces these huge sales numbers, investors go wild, the stock price shoots through the roof, and guess what? Now they have even more cash to start the cycle all over again.
And get this isn't some shady backroom deal. Experts are saying this is now a core business strategy. A BlackRock analyst literally called it a necessity. It's how the biggest players use their mountains of cash to build this impenetrable fortress around their business. And the result? You get what one market watcher called a euphoric moment in stocks. You know, that bubble-like excitement that's all over the AI space right now. All right, let's shift gears a bit, because all this financial wizardry isn't just about making stock prices go up. It's about power, real global power.
You see, this race for AI supremacy has become a central battleground in global competition. A former Assistant Secretary of State put it perfectly, calling the U.S.-China relationship a grinding, incremental struggle, and AI is right at the heart of that struggle.
And that's not just some abstract idea. This struggle is playing out on actual, literal battlefields. AI is fundamentally changing how wars are fought. We're seeing things like drone swarming pop up. I mean, think about it. One single operating system controlling a whole network of drones, all different sizes, all working together as one coordinated, intelligent weapon. It's a lot.
And just to be clear, this is not a movie plot. It's happening right now. The CEO of a defense tech company called Auterion is flat out warning that we are on a collision course for robot wars, where it's just drones fighting other drones. In fact, companies like his are already shipping tens of thousands of these AI strike kits to Ukraine. This is live, active conflict technology.
Okay, so for AI to do all this crazy stuff, whether it's dominating the stock market or the battlefield, it needs more than just smart code. It needs tools. We're talking about the hidden picks and shovels of this new AI gold rush.
Because here's the thing, none of it works, not the financial models, not the drone swarms, without one fundamental thing, and it's not chips, it's data. AI has to understand data, and that right now is a massive headache. Most data is trapped in these little digital islands or silos that can't talk to each other. It makes building really effective AI almost impossible.
So to fix this, the industry's building those picks and shovels I mentioned. And a really key one is this thing called the Open Semantic Interchange. The easiest way to think about it is like a universal translator from Star Trek. It's a common language that lets all those different systems share not just the raw data, but the meaning and the context behind it. You've got big players like Snowflake and BlackRock behind this, all trying to make data play nice so AI can get valuable faster.
Okay, so we have this frantic pace of development, this gold rush mentality, but it's not all good news. This is where we have to talk about the dark side, the human cost of all this hype. And believe me, it is a serious cautionary tale.
So on one hand, you have this huge financial boom and incredible tech breakthroughs. But on the other hand, the very model that fuels it, that whole move fast and break things mantra from the venture capital world, well, sometimes the things that get broken are people.
And if you want a perfect and frankly heartbreaking example, look no further than the story of KindBody. It's a fertility startup, and it was backed by over $300 million in VC money. A deep dive investigation by Bloomberg uncovered just a horrifying pattern of critical mistakes. We're talking about embryos being mislabeled or even accidentally destroyed.
What happened? Well, the company was under immense pressure to grow at all costs. It's the classic VC playbook. You can see the whole story right here on this timeline. They start in 2018 with a great idea. By 2023, they have over $300 million in funding. And by 2024, that's when the reports of clinical crises start to surface.
That investigation found that the insane pace of growth just led to a total system breakdown internally. You had high employee turnover, embryology labs that were chronically understaffed, rules and protocols being applied randomly, and maybe worst of all, a culture where patients who raised concerns about their symptoms were just dismissed. The Kindbody story is just such a sobering reminder of what happens when that growth at all costs mentality hits something as sensitive as healthcare. And it's a chilling preview of the risks we're facing in this AI boom.
All right, so that brings us to our last section, looking past the bubble. With all this hype, all this risk, all this anxiety, you have to ask, is this whole AI thing just a massive bubble that's about to pop? Or is something real and lasting actually being built here?
Well, if you ask the major investors, the answer is a resounding no. A BlackRock analyst put it really clearly. This isn't about what happens next quarter. They see this as a long-term theme. It's a bet they're making for the next 5, 10, even 20 years.
A lot of these big money players, they're not even looking at today's profits. They're focused on what they call the direction of travel. They're betting that all this massive spending now will eventually pay off, even if some analysts are warning about a potential $800 billion revenue gap by 2030. So you really have these two competing ideas. On one side, the short-term anxiety about a bubble, and on the other, this long-term vision that AI is a fundamental change for everything. So yeah, there are some really serious questions about whether these valuations make any sense, and if this is all sustainable. But the big players, they're not acting like this is just some passing fad. They're treating this moment as the foundation for the next decade of technology. And that really is the central question of our time, isn't it? We have trillions of dollars on the line, and the future of technology, of warfare, and maybe even human life itself, all hanging in the balance. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.